Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's been 2 years since I bought this Nitro Z18. When I bought it, I did a walkthrough, first impressions, overview of the boat. So today we're going to do a 2-year review, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, anything I'd change, and looking back if I would make the same decision or if I would go with something else. Let's get into it. All right, starting at the front, the Lowrance Ghost trolling motor. This came with my Nitro Z18 Pro package. Overall, I do really like the trolling motor. I have had a problem with it though. There was a sensor in the head that went bad and it was giving me the 5 blinking flashes on the arrow. So I had to take it into a shop and they had to replace that. It was covered under warranty, but you know, it was about 3 weeks of not having the trolling motor. So that wasn't great. It's fairly common, unfortunately, with Lowrance trolling motors. But other than that hiccup, it's been really great. I love the power. I love how quiet it is. The functionality. It's a really nice trolling motor. You know, all the normal features you'd expect, spot lock, you know, stuff like that. But it has had some issues, you know, and it's a newer trolling motor. It hasn't been around as long as something like the Minn Kotas have. So something to think about. And of course, the most consequential upgrade that I've made to the boat is adding the Garmin Liv Scope. I do have one of these little C-stick indicators as well, because the Ghost trolling motor is notoriously bad at pointing where it's going. I mean, this little magnetic thing sort of does a good job, but not nearly precise enough for Liv Scope, so that's why I bought that. But yeah, I mean, the Liv Scope's great. Everybody knows how important that's getting. Hang on, guys. Before we move forward with the video, we gotta have a talk. I don't normally badger you to like and subscribe in all my videos. It's not my thing. I get it. You'll subscribe or you'll like it if you like it. But look at this. Look at these numbers. This channel gets a lot of views, but 98% of you that view my videos are not subscribed. That's crazy. I didn't realize it was like that. So listen, please do me a favor. If you're watching, if you like it, if you watch more than one of my videos, if you found some of the instructional videos helpful at all, do me a favor, subscribe. Now let's get back to it. And view from the bow here, my Lowrance Elite FS7 did come with the Z18 Pro package. And then I added the Garmin unit when I bought my Liv Scope. The Lowrance pedal fits in there really nicely. No major complaints about anywhere in the front of the boat. I did take this panel off multiple times doing my wiring when I had to replace the trolling motor. So I mean, I don't have any complaints about any of these components. These screws go back in really nicely. They have not loosened up on me at all. So construction wise, as far as this part goes, I've been very happy with it. I was nervous, you know, taking screws in and out of fiberglass, but honestly, it's been really great. So no complaints there at all. All right, moving down to the rod lockers. So my first complaint about the rod locker is that there was no organization provided at all. I guess you're just supposed to throw your rods in there on top of each other. I'm too weird about that kind of stuff. I like things to be organized and separated. So I made this organizer out of this MDF. I have a video on that on the channel if you want to check that out, but that at least keeps the rods separated. I've been happy with that. It's been in there for at least 1.5 years now. The compartments themselves are big enough, you know, there's no problems there. I fit as many rods as I need to. I did have a slight problem with this hardware. This was like pulling apart at the fiberglass. I actually had to put a larger screw in that one hole because it kind of was loosening just because of the wear and tear on the hinge there. So that's something to think about. Oh, and one thing to note about the compartments, they are fully waterproof. I've never had any water intrusion in any of the compartments. That includes the middle, the side, or the ones in the rear. Water does drain around these channels really nicely. All right, middle storage compartment. My biggest complaint here was that it feels like they really didn't take into account the Plano 3700 boxes that are pretty much standard for storing your stuff. They can slide in there in this big middle compartment, but they have these side compartments that don't come out, and the Plano boxes don't fit in there. So like, it's weird. I don't know why they do that. So I have my soft plastics in bags on the sides, Plano box in the middle, and then I added this organizer for my soft plastics. It's kind of like one of those chip clips that like the convenience store has. And I just, I screwed it in to that metal plate. And you can hang plastics that you use more often. So that's what I do there. Overall, this is fine. It does its job. I would have liked more thought put into the organization so that the Plano boxes actually fit anywhere. But it's okay. It's not bad. In this right storage compartment is, kind of my catch-all for everything else. I've got life jackets. My seat is in there when I'm not using it. Bumpers, ropes, my pole for my GoPros back there, my fire extinguisher. I mounted my Liv Scope unit. The black box is in there. So, plenty of room in there. No complaints at all. No problems with that hinge because, I guess I'm just not in this one as much, maybe, but... Slight pause in the review. I just got absolutely poured on. A little spring rain. But the review must go on. Let's get back. Okay, so the center step here, this is the cooler. I don't really use it as a cooler. My weigh bag's in there. Some lines and tools I use a lot are in there. My garbage can. It's nice that it came with a garbage can. It's not an expensive item, so it's kind of interesting. But it's nice that it fits easily in there and you can take it out and dump it. That's cool. The cooler does have a drain at the bottom. I've never had ice in it, I don't think. But if you're the type of guy that takes a bunch of drinks out, or you guys are doing something, I guess that's nice. I do like the tool holders. Use them all the time. Baits obviously get stuck in there. I like putting my pliers and stuff up front in these holders. That's nice and convenient. So that's cool. I get a lot of use out of that. Let's head over and check out the console. All right, so mostly pretty standard stuff. There's not a whole lot to call out or complain about here. Live well controls on the right, your power controls on the left. The Elite FS7, same as up front, came with the Pro package. I did upgrade to the Hotfoot, and I will say that made a big difference for me. It's just so much more comfortable driving. I feel like I have more control. I always have two hands on the wheel. If anything were to happen and, let's say I hit something or I get ejected, more times than not, the boat's gonna come to a stop. So it's a little safer, I think. But it was a lot more comfortable for me. I would recommend doing that upgrade, but that's kind of a preference thing. Overall, I've been very happy with the Hotfoot though. Of course, the gauges aren't great. RPM so far seems to be accurate. Mile per hour is iffy, and sometimes the little tube that, the pressure gets sensed through, to actually calculate this. Sometimes that tube falls out. You got to reach onto the console and connect it again. They're gauges, they're cheap. So there's probably no real solution to that unless you go with a boat that's got digital gauges. The Nitro seats have held up great. They're very comfortable. No, signs of wear or stitching that's been popping or anything. I mean, I don't have tons of people jumping in and out of it all the time, but it's held up great. No complaints. No fading or anything in the sun either, which is nice. One of the other little upgrades I did was I added I guess they call this a coin box as a center step instead of a seat, or sometimes there's just nothing here, which is silly. This is really handy. I put, stuff in here that I use a lot. I've got hand wipes, my gloves, because it wasn't too long ago, it was cold. And then this pulls out and you can get to your gas tank under there. But yeah, that's really nice. No complaints. Again, watertight. I've never gotten any water in there, so that's cool. All right, on to the live well. I do have kind of a major complaint about the live well system. The live well itself is good. It aerates pretty well. It circulates water pretty well. I've never lost any fish. They're always in really good shape. So that part's fine. I think it is really well insulated. But the valve system is terrible. I've seen a lot of people complain about it, and it's this flow right system here. If you can tell, that's just loose. There's nothing connecting to it anymore. The cable that's behind that fiberglass pulled loose of the mechanism, so this just spins freely, and that is always in the open position. Now, I got lucky that it got stuck in the open position, because I can just use a plug when I want it to fill, and then when I want it to drain, I pull the plug. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not an easy fix. I mean, you got to get all the way. I think you got to remove batteries and get all the way under there to fix that. So it's not something I'm going to fix, but it's frustrating that, that broke like 2 months in. These rear compartments, more the same. No complaints. It's watertight. I like that. I do really like these removable bins. For one, if you have a buddy that has a Nitro, you can take your bin out and put it in his boat. If you want to pack your tackle for the day and you're fishing out of his boat, that's super convenient. Also, you can get to the bilge and, accessories and stuff under there really easily when you remove that compartment. So that's pretty cool. And finally, back here in the battery compartment, no major complaints. Plenty of room. There's plenty of room back there if you ever wanted to add power poles. You have some room for pumps and stuff, for extra batteries. Guys are running multiple batteries now for their electronics. I had plenty of room to run wiring when I did my Liv Scope install. You can see all those details in my video on the channel. But yeah, overall, nice and tidy still. Stays pretty clean. There's nothing overly good to say about it, but nothing bad. So I guess that's the main bonus point there is that, nothing to complain about. I've been very happy with my Mercury Pro XS. It's a 150. I know the boat's rated for 175, so it's slightly underpowered, I guess. But I mean, honestly, I've had no complaints. I go 45, 50 miles an hour most of the time. Very comfortable for me. It's great on gas. It's very smooth. It's quiet. It doesn't have quite that rumble that the 175 has. It'd be nice to have that extra growl when you start up. But, it's been great. No problems. I've just done the yearly maintenance. That's what to expect. I mean, it's only a 2-year-old motor, so you wouldn't think there'd be problems. But yeah, it's been good. And finally, everyone's favorite, the Nitro trailer. I guess I've been lucky. I've not had any trailer problems. Only 2 years in. You wouldn't expect them, but there's plenty of complaints that you can read online. Plenty of people saying how they've got trailers that broke really easily. I haven't had any problems. The Pro package did come with this upgraded Fulton winch, which is nicer than I think the standard one. The swing away tongue's great. It saves you a lot of space in the garage. I've never had to use the spare tire, thankfully. One thing on the trailer I did replace, it comes with plastic hubs that hold in the bearing grease. I replaced them with aluminum. Nitro will actually send you aluminum ones for free if you call in their customer service. I just bought them. They were like 20 bucks. It wasn't that big of a deal. And I replaced the plastic ones. You unscrew the plastic ones. You can repack it with grease, put the aluminum ones in. A lot of people have been complaining about those plastic ones failing, and then the, you know, the bearing grease goes flying out, and then you burn it up while you're on the road. So that's really something to think about if you have a Nitro trailer, you know, any trailer, but I guess Nitro specifically. Make sure you do the aluminum on the hubs there, but that's an easy thing to correct. It's silly, you had to, but you know. No problems at the back of the trailer either. A lot of people complain about cracking here. I inspect mine all the time before trips, just, you know, to make sure there's no cracking or whatever. Save myself a disaster on the road, but everything's been good so far. The boat buckles are the original that came with it. They're great. So, you know, everything's holding up just fine. So there you have it. 2 years with the Nitro Z18. I would definitely buy one again. I've been happy. The price was right. There's some minor things that probably weren't thought out very well. The live well drain thing was really dumb, and I'm, you know, annoyed about that. It's not the end of the world, but it's just something that it's not easy to fix. So they probably should have just, you know, went with something that was a little easier to maintain on that. Overall though, I like the ride of the boat. It does well in bigger water, rougher water. You know, I haven't had any crazy like 4-foot seas or anything, but on a busy day in the summer when there's lots of boat traffic, it does really well. I feel safe in it. So that's a bonus. I think if you're considering buying a boat, I would definitely look at a Nitro. I would not go below the Z18. The Z17s that I've seen seem to be just more cheaply built. I don't know if they use different materials or what it is, price point, I don't know, but I wouldn't go with the Z17. Z18 or up. You know, a lot of people go with the Z19. That's kind of the sweet spot if you're serious about tournament angling or something. I'm really happy with my Z18. I wouldn't go bigger than this. It's usually just me out there, so it's not that big of a deal. For the price, I think it's probably one of the best boats you can get out there. You could probably get an aluminum for a similar price, but you're not going to have the ride that a fiberglass would have. So, you know, I've been very happy with it. Definitely some complaints. You know, if you guys have questions about anything, how it's holding up in particular, I didn't cover, drop me a comment. I'd be happy to, you know, give you an answer on it. But yeah, 2 years in, going strong. I expect to have it for quite some more time. I'm not looking to replace it or get anything else. So I guess that's the main thing. If I'm happy and I'm not in the market for a new one, things are going well. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, drop me a comment with any questions. Catch you in the next one.